Good day, welcome to a second update in which we're going to discuss Cardano in a very small manner, as we have to update this one given the fact that we might be seeing some more pain on the Bitcoin pairs. But before we're going to continue, do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also do not forget to like this YouTube update if you enjoy the content, and also do not forget to check out my Twitter and Instagram, where you can see my content on the cryptocurrency markets and my personal life. I'll be more active on Instagram in the coming period, as I'll be doing lots of cool stuff, as my eyes are finally getting fixed. So all the stuff that I wanted to do, I can do finally. So do not forget to follow me on Insta. Looking at the markets, Cardano against USDT, and honestly, if you look at the price action in itself, and you probably would also see this on 2017, in which the markets have been going vertical too, it's kind of scary, right? So at some point we're going to have that Burj Khalifa pattern in which we're going to correct even more, but at this stage we're still in a bull cycle in which we make higher highs and higher lows. Looking at Cardano against USDT, and I try to emphasize this entire topic multiple times, given that it's very important to discuss this topic at this stage. The USDT values are remaining quite calm at this point, through which we could assume that the USDT values of the altcoins will continue grinding. I'm referring to the period that we've had in October and November, in which we also had breakouts all across the markets, in which we were grinding up with the USDT values, but the Bitcoin values remained calm. If we're looking back at 2020 with Cardano, we've also seen a corrective move in September, which is usually the period in September that we are corrective. After that, sideways action, a breakout later. Currently, we are seeing a similar corrective move, sideways consolidation. I've also stated the critical levels for Cardano in the USDT values based on the previous price action, rising wedge structure here. So I was stating, okay, if you want to buy Cardano at this point, I think you want to be looking at anywhere in this range here, aggressive in the area around 245, and also if we dip towards 175, that's an entry point. We got there, and most likely what we're going to get with Cardano right now is that we are close to a bottom. So we could still be dropping towards $1.80 if Bitcoin makes any certain correction at some point, but the USDT values are most likely bottomed out. So what are we going to expect at this point? I'm assuming that we're going to have a grind back up with Cardano against USDT for a little bit towards this all-time high region, just like we have been seeing in November 2020, in which we grinded back up towards the all-time high region before we started to accelerate heavily. I'm assuming that the exact same will take place. However, a run towards this area is a run of about 30%, and running of Bitcoin towards above 65k towards 70k is the exact same. So we could be seeing Cardano against USDT run to somewhere in this range and underperform against Bitcoin, as Bitcoin is taking the place at this point, as the Bitcoin dominance chart is also running upwards, through which you can see that the Bitcoin values of altcoins are dropping down swiftly. This means that the Bitcoin values of the altcoins are currently downtrending. So what should you be looking at for a potential entry if you want to enter on Cardano? You should be looking at the Bitcoin pairs. At this point, correction, just like we have been seeing earlier, we are making lower highs, lower lows, and through that you can derive some important levels to watch. First of all, if we break above the area 4640, that is the level that you should be looking at, and then we're going to have a new impulse wave. So bouncing all the way towards this range, bearish rejection, I'm done. Then I'm assuming that I think that we're going to have some more downwards momentum, and I think that if we don't break through 4640, we can test anywhere in this region. The crucial recent low is this area. So you don't want to see a Cardano against Bitcoin drop beneath 3200 sats, but you want to create a higher low based on previous support levels. So we could be seeing some upwards momentum if Bitcoin consolidates a little bit, through which the Bitcoin pair can bounce a little. This one is an area to watch, and this one. For bullish continuation, breakout above this area would be granting you continuation to the upside. But I think that right now we're just not seeing it. I'm assuming that at some point we're going to land around the area of 35 to 3800 sats through this structure, have some sideways action, and then we start accelerating in the first quarter of 2022 once again. Should you be buying Cardano? I think that overall, if you want to get into the markets at this point, and I've discussed that earlier this morning too, the chances are still there. I think you still want to enter the markets at this point, as we are getting into the second phase of this bull cycle. However, if you want to buy altcoins, I think you want to be a little bit more cautious on entering those, especially the smaller ones. And with Cardano, you should be looking at the areas that I've derived here. If you want to look for entry points on Bitcoin, I think you want to just DCA. So, as a conclusion, should you buy Cardano here? I think if you are looking for compounding your Bitcoin profits, I probably assume that you would be better off by switching or holding Bitcoin for a little while until you see clear confirmation of a bottoming structure on the altcoins. And we've seen that in 2020 as well on Cardano, which has been corrective. Some slight bounces in between, and after that another corrective move. We could be copy pasting this structure in which we bounce a little to 4260, drop towards 4K, run here, come all the way back down, and then we start running. That is something that we could be doing. Entry points around this area. Doesn't matter whether it's going to be November, December. I think this is the area where you should be looking for longs overall. I hope you have enjoyed this small update. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.